Let's talk about improving your impact within your organization through a leader mindset. What do I mean by that? I'm going to share my screen real quick because I want you to see this quote. And I really like this quote. Where I am is a result of who I was. Where I go depends entirely on who I choose to be. By Hal here. And I really like that. I think it's a great way to talk about, as I want to increase my visibility or increase my capacity as a leader within the organization. If I choose to be that, how do I get there? I got a really simple way. So I read a book. Let me see if I can advance this. And it's called Leadership Conversations. And I took this from the book. It's called The Context for Action. And here's the authors down here. And I really thought this was a great way of demonstrating how a leader comes at these same 6 elements, but depending on where you are in the organization as a leader, how you view them. And I love this leader mindset. So as an example, as a first line manager, the vision, a first line manager is still learning the vision. If you're a manager of managers, you provide input to the vision. If you're an executive leader, you convert vision into strategy. And if you're a chief, and that's what this stands for, chief leader with over any domain, they use the vision to create the future. And okay, so planning role. A first line leader focuses on the current projects. The manager of managers focuses on the current, but is also using resources and allocating for future projects. An executive leader is building capacity within the organization, and a chief leader pursues strategic acquisitions and partnerships. I just thought this was so appropriate. And I'm going to leave this, you guys can see this for yourself. But from the context of mid-level leader, how does this apply to you? So let's take a current situation that many of us go through, and that is you have increased employee attrition or employee turnover within your division, you have increased employee turnover. How can you be, with a leader mindset, increase, what am I trying to say? With the leader mindset, how can you increase the visibility of yourself as this leader in addressing this issue? So let's walk through that. Let me go one more slide here. How to be the value add. So let's take a situation that needs an intervention. As I said, increase employee turnover. This is the mindset now. Okay, we're putting on our leader mindset as a mid-level leader. If you were the CEO, you would be looking at this differently. But what are the interventions needed in your demonstrated business case? Well, what's that saying? Well, it's a fancy way of just sort of saying what's needed in order to address the increase in employee turnover in your area. So let's assume that what are the interventions needed? Well, that you've already met with HR and you reviewed all the exit interviews for those who have left your area, assuming that they provided one. And you are honestly looking at that feedback. And through an honest assessment of that feedback, you developed a list of initiatives that are actionable and measurable with a timeline that you want, that you're going to now to address. So what are the interventions needed? That's what's on your list. What's the relative value of those interventions, or what's the impact? Who benefits from the value of addressing increased employee turnover in your area? Well, who benefits? Well, obviously you do. HR benefits from this. Finance benefits from this, from a decreased cost in constant recruitment costs in bringing people on, decreased costs in solving this problem from onboarding expense. Marketing won't have any dollars. If you decrease the turnover in your area, marketing won't have to use so many dollars to get people interested in the position. And other business leaders within your organization, depending on who you partner with most closely, depending on your area within the organization, will also benefit from a decrease in turnover in your area because of the relationships that you have and how those impact. So that's who benefits. And so when you, again, putting on this leader mindset, this is how we, as a leader, bring these issues forward and not just go to HR and say, I continue to have increased turnover in my area and I don't know what to do. Here you go. No, as a leader, this is how you're addressing it. So you have your actionable and measurable items. You've already thought through who benefits from this, because now we're talking about what partners make the most sense to achieve this value. Obviously, HR, other business units, legal, somebody, perhaps it's going to require some kind of contracting, marketing for the messaging that's needed in order to bring in new recruits. Maybe some of your business development partners might make sense to help achieve this value, because you might need some outreach. What kind of relationship do you want to have? Again, this is for internal. This can also be used very easily for your boss and your boss's boss, thinking about bigger partnerships and things like that. But what relationship do you want to have with your internal colleagues around solving this problem of increased employee turnover in your area? So I guess in answering this question for you, what kind of relationship do you want to have is sort of calling out who's going to handle what piece of this. Again, you're not just planning this, you're actually taking control of this. You're saying, I want to lead this effort. I want to lead the solution of this problem. And so finance, this is what I need you to do. I need a better comp structure, perhaps, of which they would have to then work with HR in order to achieve that. Business development, I need some outreach here around what kind of, perhaps there's other similar partnerships we have that they might be experiencing the same thing. What can I learn from that? Again, legal, HR, marketing, I need some attractive messaging around this that I can use. What do you want the relationship to look like? Again, you as being the driver. And then what communication is necessary to achieve a successful relationship? I'm going to stop sharing here. And the reason that one is important is business is a series of relationships and communication is its life. So when you think through solving this problem and you just identify who you're going to be partnering with, you want to be able to say with those people, what am I saying to each of them? I'm not having the exact same conversation, because each of those separate departments have a different lens that they're looking at your issue through. So somebody's looking at compensation, perhaps that was an issue. Somebody's looking at the messaging, somebody's looking at the onboarding and what that's going to look like, and who's handling what piece. So who are you talking to? What are you saying? And how often are you saying it? I'll always say it. Every good project plan has a good communication plan. So when those timelines and actionable items are hit, then you have this in play. And what are the next things that are going to happen? So being the value add in solving increased employee attrition within your domain makes great sense. You're the leader of this, and you can position yourself to be the leader and handle this like a leader with a leader mindset. Let me know how it works for you. I'm happy to hear all about it and celebrate in your success.